I started noticing my wife dressing up more and acting unusually cheerful. I couldn't shake off this nagging suspicion, so one day I decided to follow her. That bastard turned out to be her boss. They were locked in a fiery stare-down, bodies practically glued together, like they were rehearsing for a telenovela. I didn't need more proof. Their cozy antics screamed betrayal. I confided in my mom, and she dropped a bombshell. Get a paternity test for our 6-year-old kid. That idea hit me like a ton of bricks, but I went through with it. And guess what? The kid I'd been raising wasn't mine. That was it. I was losing my mind. Rage took over and I felt like doing something extreme. And I did. I rushed back home and caught her red-handed, rummaging through the fridge. I kicked the door shut and she fell inside screaming. Our kid started crying instantly. I felt a pang of guilt for the kid, but quickly turned cold. I grabbed her, furious, demanding to know why she had cheated on me. She was dumbfounded, overwhelmed with guilt, shame, and despair as every emotion hit her at once, leaving her speechless and utterly stunned. I slapped her twice, which was so out of character for me. I've always stood up against men who hit women, but this betrayal turned me into the very person I despised. At that moment, her sister barged in. She grabbed me by the collar and slapped me back, yelling, "What kind of man hits a woman?" I respected her sister a lot, and we had a good relationship, so this hit me hard. I handed her the paternity test results and she froze, but still insisted that hitting my wife was wrong. Why not? I was furious and wanted to hit again. But her commanding presence stopped me. She threatened to call her husband or even some unsavory characters they knew. Their family had deep connections, and I knew I had to back off. I gave my wife one last death stare and stormed out. Looking back, I'm actually grateful to her sister. If she hadn't interrupted, I might have done something I'd regret forever. What followed was a long process of gathering evidence, filing for divorce, and even tracking down the real father of my wife's child. Surprisingly, it wasn't the guy I suspected, but her former boss. I demanded compensation for my emotional and financial suffering, including all the costs of raising the child. He agreed, and I took the money without giving a cent to my ex-wife. My ex-wife did try to apologize, acting all sweet and remorseful, and her whole family tried to make amends. But I couldn't get past the betrayal. I insisted on a divorce, and we finally separated. She got custody of the kid. Then, in a cruel twist of fate, I found out I was infertile. My sperm count was too low. I was devastated. My mom suggested I might consider getting back with my ex-wife. After all, we had a good relationship once, and she probably wouldn't cheat again. Plus, her whole family felt they owed me. I staged a casual encounter with her, but she was a different person. The once cheerful and gentle woman had turned bitter and spiteful. She was no longer remorseful. Instead, she blamed me for her infidelity, saying I hadn't treated her well or satisfied her needs. That was the final nail in the coffin for any thoughts of reconciliation. I threw myself into my work, and years later, I met a wonderful single mom and got remarried. Life became warm and fulfilling again. Occasionally, I heard snippets about my ex-wife. She had wrecked another family, fallen out with her sister, and her son had even run away once. The wife of her affair partner made her life miserable at work. It's sad, really. I once believed we would grow old together.